Imagine falling asleep on the train and missing the central station. You're surrounded by wheat fields, waiting for the train to stop at the next station. Suddenly, it does, and while getting out, you only see endless expanses of wheat. Where are you? You are at Gongyi South Station. This station is uniquely built right in the middle of a wheat field, creating a scene that's both serene and extraordinary. When you step out of Gongyi South Station, you'll be greeted by vast expanses of wheat fields, making the station feel especially isolated. No residential areas are nearby, adding to its unique charm. If you walk 1 kilometer south along a secluded path, you'll reach Balin Village. Head north for 2.5 kilometers along Hope Road and you'll find the main highway, G310, which can take you to Gongyi City or Huaihua Town. The station itself is quite impressive. Covering an area of 5,000 square meters, it boasts a 2,000 square meter waiting hall that can accommodate 600 passengers at a time. Construction began in December 2008, and the station officially opened on February 6, 2010 as a second-class high-speed railway station. Despite its remote location, Gongyi South Station serves over 5,000 passengers daily and handles more than 5,000 pieces of luggage, even though only 13 trains stop here each day. Let's talk about some intriguing news from the Gongyi Transport Bureau. During this year's May Day holiday, a peak tourist period, Gongyi South Station served 7,509 passengers over 5 days. That's about 1,152 passengers per day, even during peak times. This is only a third of the station's capacity. On regular days, the utilization rate drops to less than 10%, making it a bit of a ghost station. Now, if you think that's underwhelming, wait until you hear about Huzhou North Station. Located in the quiet suburbs of Huzhou City, this high-speed railway station sees even fewer passengers than Gongyi South. It's served by 3 major high-speed railway lines: the Beijing-Hong Kong High-Speed Railway, the Huzhou-Baotou High-Speed Railway, and the Baotou-Fuzhou Connection Line. It connects Beijing in the north with scenic spots like Suzhou and Hangzhou in the south. It should be a bustling regional transportation hub, right? But in reality, it stands eerily quiet, contrasting starkly with the busy urban areas nearby. Have you heard of Huzhou North Station? It's an ideal transfer point, perfect for both sightseeing and business. But here's the surprising part: the daily passenger flow is less than 8. You'll find more staff than travelers, with employees just sitting around in an empty, silent waiting hall. Because of the low number of passengers, only 1 train stops at Huzhou North Station, and the station operates for just 2 hours and 10 minutes each day. There aren't enough service facilities to meet your needs, so most people prefer busier stations for transfers or rest. This has made the station even more deserted. But let's talk about the environment here. It's beautiful. You can hear the sparrows chirping, and the air is fresh. The high-speed rail services are actually quite sufficient, making travel convenient. However, there are no bus stations or tricycle taxis, which can be a bit inconvenient. According to statistics from the China Business Journal, Huzhou North Station isn't alone. At least 26 high-speed railway stations in China remain unused or have been shut down due to remote locations, inadequate surrounding facilities, and low passenger volumes. So, what do you think about this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Take the Huaihua high-speed railway station in Danzhou, Hainan, for example. It costs over 40 million yuan and covers nearly 2,000 square meters, but it hasn't been put into use in the 8 years it was built. Why? Hainan Provincial Development and Reform Commission said that after chatting with the railway department, they found out the station's daily passenger flow was less than 100 people. This means running it would result in huge losses, which is why it remains unused. Now, Danzhou is a small city with a population of less than 1 million, and it built 3 high-speed railway stations at the same time. This left many people scratching their heads. But get this, Danzhou is actually pretty conservative compared to Guanyun, a third-tier city in Yunnan province. Guanyun built 9 high-speed railway stations all at once. Wangzhuang Station, for example, had an investment of over 50 million yuan, but hasn't seen a high-speed train stop in more than half a year since it opened in March 2018. Initially, it had 7 trains stopping, with a daily passenger flow of less than 200, but that was its peak. Usage dwindled, and the station eventually closed indefinitely. In Nanjing, the capital of Jiangsu province, there's Jiangning Station and Zhenjiang East Station. Both of these have been sitting unused for over a decade since their construction. Surprisingly, it seems some of these stations are built to avoid foot traffic. For instance, Shaoguan North Station in Hubei province is located 100 kilometers away from the urban area. Can you imagine traveling 1 or 2 hours just to reach a train station? That's why this first-class station, built for 120 million yuan, sees just over 100 passengers most days. But it gets more interesting. Zunyi South Station in Guizhou is over 3 hours away from the city center if you're using public transportation. This makes you question the purpose of these high-speed railway stations. By 2022, China had built 5,544 high-speed railway stations, including 50 special class stations, 236 first-class stations, and many more. However, these higher category stations account for less than 30% of the total, with many like Shaoguan North Station experiencing very low daily passenger flows. Ineffective infrastructure projects are those that require significant investment but offer little to no benefits. They turn into ghost towns, empty airports, and abandoned bridges, wasting resources, damaging the environment, and burdening local governments financially. They hinder sustainable economic and social development. Take the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, for example. It cost 110 billion yuan to build, but is often called a ghost bridge due to the lack of vehicles. Or the Shangan New area, which has spent 660 billion yuan over the past 7 years, resulting in many buildings but few residents, earning it the nickname Ghost City. Then there's the Zhonggan High-Speed Railway Station, the largest in Asia. It opened on December 27, 2020, with a total investment of 30 billion yuan and an area of 475,000 square meters. By March 2024, it had served only 1.46 million passengers, averaging just 1,230 per day. This advanced, spacious, and luxurious station is so underrated that it's also dubbed a ghost station. Let's talk about some rapidly constructed airports and the issues they face. You might be surprised to learn that some of these airports are inefficient or even ineffective. For example, Guizhou once planned for each country to have an airport by 2030, and Hunan aimed for every county to have a general airport and every township a temporary landing site. Sounds ambitious, right? But here's the problem. If there aren't enough passengers, the massive investments can't be recouped, leading to a huge waste of resources. In 2022, 7 airports across the country had annual passenger volumes below 2,600, averaging fewer than 7 passengers daily. Yunnan's Shanghai Airport had only 164 passengers in 2021. That's less than 0.5 passengers per day. These airports are almost indistinguishable from being abandoned. Subways face similar issues. Some cities launch metro projects with adequate planning. Take the Ganzhusha metro station on Ningbo's Line 3, for example. It costs 200 million yuan and is surrounded by desolation. Why does this happen? The causes are many: performance-oriented government, blind imitation, lack of planning, and poor supervision. Fixing this requires reforms and innovations across institutional, market, and technological areas, making sure they align with economic and social development. Did you know that to fund many of these infrastructure projects, local government in China often issue bonds or raise debt? This approach has led to a significant increase in government debt. By the end of 2020, the national balance of local government debt was 25.7 trillion yuan. Fast forward to the end of 2023, and this figure had ballooned to about 40.7 trillion yuan, with a statutory government debt ratio of 56%. That's a staggering growth rate. Local governments also carry substantial implicit debt, which includes debts beyond statutory limits and legal guarantees involving public institutions and state-owned enterprises. According to Li Junlei, chief economist at Zhongtai Securities, when you include this implicit debt, the ratio of local government debt to GDP in China reaches a whopping 74%, possibly the highest globally. Here's something surprising. Infrastructure plays a bigger role in China's economy than real estate. In 2023, investment in China's infrastructure industry hit 23 trillion yuan, making up over 18% of GDP. This is more than double the 11 trillion yuan invested in real estate. Some local governments in China have a cycle of building, demolishing, and rebuilding. It might look good in economic data, but it only increases government debt. Many hope the government will boost the economy, but government-driven projects can actually be more harmful. The real issue isn't stimulating investment, it's repaying massive debts and avoiding bankruptcy. China's current fiscal situation is tough. In 2024, their main goal is to mitigate risk, cut spending, and practice austerity. The focus is now on preventing debt defaults and financial crises. The goal of stabilizing public finances is to stabilize society and strengthen the government's overall rule. Overall, it's unrealistic to expect the government to drive economic growth. Large infrastructure projects often fail to generate real profits and instead create more debt. Back in 2008, in response to the global financial crisis, local governments used these projects to boost GDP. The constant construction activity helped maintain GDP targets, with high-speed rail being a key player. But many of these projects ended up being excessive and ineffective, driven mainly by the need to meet GDP assessments. Take Hegang, for example. In 2011, this city went viral online. Hegang, designated a resource-depleted city, replaced GDP with livelihood indicators in local government assessments. From 2013 to 2018, Hegang built 110,000 affordable housing units for a population of less than 1 million. Some families even received 4 units each, one for each season, but residents weren't happy. They had to pay a price difference of 350 to 551 per square meter, which added up. Plus, many lost jobs due to the coal mine closures and used redundancy payments to cover these costs. Later, the story of Hegang's housing oversupply became widely known. Houses in Hegang fell to dirt-cheap prices, and even real estate agents went out of business. The money residents paid to cover the price difference was wasted. Hegang's surplus affordable housing is both ineffective infrastructure and ineffective social welfare. Have you ever wondered why some infrastructure projects seem ineffective or excessive? This often highlights deeper issues like local government overspending and poor planning. Instead of focusing on actual needs, they follow top-down regulations. Local resources are limited, making strict budget controls hard to implement. The importance placed on performance goals varies, affecting the effectiveness of these controls. Without addressing these fundamental problems, small fixes won't make a difference. After years of quick fixes, only the toughest issues remain, deeply rooted in the system of the Chinese Communist Party. What are your thoughts? Comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.